All right, good afternoon. It's Sunday, January 6th at almost about 1 o'clock. And I'm going to start putting some videos on this blog just to make things a little bit more interesting, see if I can get some more followers. But today I just want to overview what the pattern for the weather is going to look like over the next month, really, leading into February. And what we're going to see in summary is things are going to warm up next week, noticeably. If you see, I have the temperatures on the screen here, and this is for Wednesday, 1 o'clock next week. You could see South Jersey, 50 to 55. Up in North Jersey, 45 to 50. So we're going to definitely see temperatures enter the 50s middle of next week. So for some of you, it will be a pleasant warm-up. Over up in Maine, things might hold a little bit of cold air, but this is really what they call a January thaw. And it's not too rare to see something like this time of month, but I want to emphasize that this is going to flip. I think the pattern is locked in for the winter. I think it's going to be a colder and stormier winter than normal. Many areas along this region are already above normal for snowfall. Already seeing 3-4 events since Hurricane Sandy. So I just want to take you through the evolution of the pattern over the next 2 weeks to show you why things are going to flip. So looking at the initial upper air pattern here, this is basically at 500 millibars, which is basically midway up in the atmosphere. This is what controls most of our weather systems, is at 500 millibars. Think of the surface of the surface where we're at now being 1,000 millibars. This is 500, so halfway up. Anything time you ever see blue, that indicates colder temperatures than normal, and red indicates warmer temperatures than normal. And by looking at this, we can see ridges and troughs in the jet stream. So this kind of shows us where the cold and warm air is going to move and what areas of the country it's going to affect. And based upon how these warm areas, or also high pressure areas it could be called, set up, dictates where the weather is going to be in different parts of the country. And these are called teleconnections. So right now, as you can see, we have a little bit of a trough here off of California. This green indicates a storm entering Southern California. Right now, there's still some cold air in place. Again, this shows orange, but at the surface, there's still cold air locked in. But I want to show you how this is going to progress over the next few days. So if we go to January 11th, you can see here's the warm-up for the east coast of the country, and partially that's because we have a trough in the west that's pushing up the ridge in the north. Over Canada, there's a lack of blocking, so we're not going to see too much in the way of cold air pushing down here. But look what happens over the next, when we go to January 15th, about 4 days from then. You could see Canada is starting to lock in some high pressure, or above normal temperatures. And in turn, that pushes the cold air from Canada down into the United States. And right here, this is over the Gulf of Alaska, very, very high pressure over the Gulf of Alaska. This pushes the ridge up over into Canada, which allows the cold air to flow down. And that's called a negative EPO. So that's one of the teleconnections we look at. In addition to that, red region over the pole indicates a negative Arctic oscillation, and a red region over Greenland indicates a negative North Atlantic oscillation. All three of those are favorable for cold, stormy weather across the United States. The only thing right now that's preventing our region from seeing more events in the area of snow is this southeast ridge that's still protruding. And the reason for that is we do not have a positive Pacific North American pattern. And what a Pacific North American pattern is basically when you have this moved a little bit more offshore, this trough here, so you have more of a ridge over the western United States and allows this trough to dig in. But not to get into too much detail, if we go into January 19th now, you can see the patterns really locking in. We have a multitude of blocking all connected across the poles. That gives you cold air in Europe and also extremely cold air in the United States. I'm talking up to 20 below normal in some of these regions, and even on the East Coast now. By the time we get towards the end of January, it really starts to lock in. Just to show you, basically, I talked about the teleconnections and how this, negative NAO, negative AO, and EPO. You can see what this looks like in graphical form. This is basically, pay attention to the green line. This shows a negative AO tanking, as we get to the 22nd of January. If we look at the NAO, This again, these are all different individual model runs. This shows the NAO tanking going in. It varies each run, but general trend is tanking. The PNA, okay, has gone negative, and that's the Pacific North American pattern I mentioned, which would give you a ridge in the west and a trough in the east. That has been negative most of the winter, if you notice right here. That's hurting us a little bit on the East Coast because we're not seeing the trough dig down into the Gulf as much as we'd like to. But anytime this starts to ease off a little bit and head more towards positive, coupled with a negative NAO and also negative AO, is when I think a storm would be favorable to develop. And I want to emphasize that I think we will see at least 2 major events this winter. And by major events, I mean mid-Atlantic events over a foot of snow. Again, I can't put an exact date on when those are going to happen, but the pattern is perfect for it, with exception of the PNA. Again, once this eases off, I think we can definitely see that. And just to show what I mean by how these pattern teleconnections influence the weather, if you look here, the NAO, this is historical. Look here in this area right here. This is Hurricane Sandy when the NAO dipped. Again, there. The last storm we had over here was where the NAO dips. So you can see dips in the NAO, usually corresponding to when they want to change from a dip to a height, is when you see storms form. And you can also see the AO, all the cold air we had in December corresponded to a negative AO as well. And real quick, just to show what the actual long-range forecast is going to show for the models in terms of temperatures, you could see, here we go, January 13th to the 20th, above normal in eastern United States. Very frigid air. This is 10 degrees below normal there. If we go over to the 21st or 26th, you can see really the cold air starts to infiltrate the entire country, and this is a very, very strong cold outbreak. Temperatures 5 below normal over a multitude of the country. And then going out to February 10th to 20th, you can see the whole month of February we are locked in with blocking to the top and below normal temperatures all across the East Coast. So things are really going to get exciting over the next few weeks. Again, enjoy the warm-up because it's not going to be here to stay, and I think real winter is going to be coming latter part of this month through the entire month of February, where I really do think we'll see at least 2 big storms form somewhere in this region. Now, whether they form here and go out to sea because of the blocking, or if they come up and hit New England, somebody in this area I think is going to get clobbered eventually, and it's just going to be a matter of time. Thanks for checking in. I'm going to do these videos once in a while, more common when there's actual storms, but I just wanted to try this out today for the blog to see if it sparks some interest. But enjoy the rest of the weekend, and keep checking in. I'll be writing some posts throughout the week.